All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start off by giving all praises and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kwadash, or Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect, the men who are pushing this word in all truth, in all sincerity, risking life and livelihood in so doing, especially in these last days and times. You know, I can't stress. We stress how things are not going to get any easier. All right, in these up and coming times. All right, and so hey, it's best to get this truth while you can. They're already again they begin have begun censoring content. um so be prepared uh for a famine of the word. Okay, be prepared for a famine of the word. uh so you want to get this truth as much as you can right now. Okay, as much of this truth, a clear understanding of this truth as you can right now. So shalom to the women and children who watch and who learn. Okay, and so you're having a problem with who are the Gentiles and who are the Israelites. Okay, people are. This has always been a problem. Okay, since I've come into the truth, people who can't understand this. All right, and so brothers, we could come from all angles with this thing, and this is just another way that I'm going to look at it. Because the regular scriptures that when you're dealing with people like Cornelius, or anything, the regular scriptures and the regular context is, it's just, if that's above your head, if that's above your pay grade, then you're not going to get it. Okay, so well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another look. So what you're looking at now is a bust, an ancient bust of of Israelites. Okay, which this bust was no doubt during the time of Babylon. All right, captivity in Babylon. And so you pretty much see the way that the Israelites are dressed right here. Okay, um, see the hair. Okay, see the style of clothes. All right, so we're gonna go into a scripture. It's early in the morning. Okay, a demon woke me up, so I said, let me do a lesson. I wanted to do this lesson, so now's a good time than at than any. All right, strike while the iron's hot. Okay, So let's start off Romans, what is this? 2. Let's just jump straight down, get straight to the point. Now, this may be hard for people to understand, so I need to really find a different translation, okay? Because people, oh man, I don't understand the way they talking, you know, you know, I don't know, man. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it in the King James version first. So I'm gonna jump down to 26. It says, therefore, okay, start at 25. It says, for circumcision verily profiteth. Okay. So if you're circumcised, you know that you're an Israelite pretty much. The Jews, all right? The Jews were those who, knew that they were Israelites. Their mother knew that their father, they grew up uh, going to the synagogues, all right? They grew up keeping the traditions of the Israelites. They were in the land, right? So they grew up keeping all of that, okay? They had that, right? So for they had the high holy days, all of that, okay? Ooh, for circumcision verily profiteth, all right? Profiteth, okay? If thou keep the law, all right? But if thou be a breaker of the law, okay, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision, okay? And guess what? They were breaking the law during that time, all right? People were breaking the law. Okay, the Jews, they were breaking the law. They were, it wasn't all hunky dory. All right, then, okay, they were breaking the law. People were doing things. Okay, when the Lord came, they didn't know who the Lord was, man. Okay, they were all over the place. Okay, like they are now. Okay, it says therefore, if the uncircumcision, okay, people, who who didn't know that they were Israelites, okay, who weren't in the land, who didn't, who weren't, maybe they did, know that they were Israelites, or they didn't, but they weren't in the land, okay, or they were just new to come into the land, all right, or they, you know, halfway knew that they were Israelites, okay, but they were off in another land. It says, therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, okay, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? Okay. And shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfilled the law, judge thee, who by the letter and circumcision does transgress the law? So if someone who didn't grow up in the land, grew up with the knowledge that they were Israelites, if they're keeping, the laws, to the best of their ability, okay? And somebody's gonna say, oh, don't say to the best of their ability, all right? But we know that you're not going to be able to keep all the laws, all right? But you can pretty much, adhere to the law, all right? Um, So those who were of the uncircumcision or the Gentiles, okay? It's just another way of saying Gentiles because a lot of you people, you know, when you think of Gentiles, you only think of Esau, of the so-called white man, all right? That's who you think of, all right? You don't think about, you don't even want the northern kingdom to be Israelites, okay? So-called Hispanics, Native Americans, you don't want them to be Israelites. You go right to the white man. You don't go to nobody else but the white man. Oh, that's the Gentile. It's the owl of the Gentile. Right? No, man. Okay. The uncircumcision, the Gentiles are talking about Israelites who are living in another land, all right, or have come out of that land, but they have kept the traditions and that they've learned in their land. Because listen, I'm not finna, if I leave America, let's say I leave America and I go to Ghana, okay? Now, yeah, I can go to Ghana. I leave America, I go to Ghana, okay, to live. Okay, all of the things that I've learned here in America, I'm going to take over to Ghana. Okay, my daily regiment. Okay. Now I'm not saying, I've never been to Ghana, so I'm not talking down on a place like Ghana. Okay. But, you know, listen, I may want, you know, hardwood floors in my home. All right. If I move to Ghana, I may want my house and home decorated a certain way. I may dress different from the people of Ghana. So they're gonna automatically look at me. He's not a guy. He's not from Ghana. He's not Ghana. He's not, you know. And that's the same thing. Okay, that's the same thing. People who may have originated in Ghana and come to America, they're not going back to Ghana if they've never been there, acting and behaving like the people of Ghana. All right, and I'm just using Ghana as an example. It just popped to my mind. All right. Um. So, verse 28 says, "For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly." Okay. So on the outward, like you see these men on this bus. Okay. Now you could look at them and you could pretty much say, yeah, man, they got the fringes, they got their beard, they able to grow their beard, they got their braids, all right, done up, okay, in the fashion, of a customary a Jew, right? But that's on the outward, okay? That's on the outward. That's how it looks on the outside looking in. No, it's on the outward, all right? Neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. Okay? Says, but he is a Jew which is one inwardly. Okay? And circumcision is that of the heart. Now, where did we hear this at before, right? Okay, in Samuel. Okay, when I believe it was when the Lord chose David. Let me see if that it. Let me see. Let me see 1 second. Let me see. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Damn it, man. Okay. Let me see. And so I went into Wikipedia. I'm just going to jump on this real quick. And to show you how, the Greeks dressed, all right? I went into Wikipedia, all right? And I put up the clothing in ancient Greece. So this is pretty much how they would have been dressing, all right? See, this is a woman's garb, or, or men, them ugly Edomite woman, all right, with some big ass feet, all right, and they do got big feet, a lot of them. I don't like women with a big feet, all right. I like women with small feet. I wear a size 5 or 4, all right. Now you could be fine women who may have some, but I prefer women with smaller feet. Because women like to wear shoes. Me, women like to wear shoes, right? Yeah, you get to buying a woman some kicks, and you and her foot size is the same, man. That's a problem, man. Now that's just me, okay? But anyway, as you see this dress here, this is how they dressed the Greek women, okay? Probably had their breast out, the heads wasn't covered. They had something going, along, a little wrap around their head or whatever, but heads wasn't covered, okay? This is how the women dressed, okay? Mixed fabric, okay? Wool, okay? Because it said, okay, so this is one of the gods, charioteer, a Delphi wearing a chiton, all right? Loose fitting, free flowing, all right? The way that they cut it, okay, linen or wool fabric, so it's mixed fabrics, okay? So this is how the Greeks did it, okay? The shoemakers, they had, their shoes were different, okay? They were wearing leather shoes, okay, or whatever type of shoes that they were wearing, all right? Ostrich, who knows, all right? But the and you can look in there and find out, but see, accessories, fasteners, belts, sashes, buttons, pins, etc. Okay? This is what they were, belts, zones, all right? Zosters. Okay, this is the footwear. Okay, soles of probably women's sandals with iron nails. Okay, on the periphery, all right? So they had iron nails in their sandals. Man, so these were some. Hey, these women, can you imagine their legs with fucking iron nails in them, man? Toting around big ass sandals like that with iron nails in them. They had to have calf muscles like, man. See that leg pop out, man. Okay. Instantaneous. Okay. Okay. Says Hesiod in his works and days advised his brother Persis to cover his feet with inside his boot, similar to modern socks. Okay. So they were wearing things that, the Israelites weren't wearing. Okay. Men and women wore footwear such as sandals, shoes, or boots, which were made most commonly out of leather. See, I said that. Okay. That's something that Greeks and Italians, okay? Okay, so you'd have seen Cornelius coming from the Italian band. He in our day, he would have been probably a sharp-looking character, man. Okay, leather. Okay, you know how the Italians do it. They're still doing it that way this day, man. All right, to let you know that, they were jakes, man. Okay, at that salt, man. So at home, people typically went barefoot. Okay. It was also common for philosophers such as Socrates to be barefoot as well. Because a lot of people just went around barefoot, man. So look at this, see? It said the bodyguards of the Pastor's tyrants were called wolf feet. See, I don't want no woman with a wolf feet. Okay. It says according to one theory, they were called like this because they had their feet covered with wolf skins to prevent frostbites. All right. So the Israelites, the Jews seeing you roll up in there like this, man. Who was that nigga on that nag? All right. That's how Jake coming. But they weren't dressed in customary, right, Israelite garbs. All right. And they, pretty much didn't get down with it. They was, having a problem with with it. And and it's pretty much to each his own, man. Okay? To each his own at that point. But see, the Jews were man, that's a heathen. Okay? Calling them heathens, man. See, I can't see if they have sandals on. They have sandals on. But their sandals probably weren't like, some of those other sandals with the, the iron screws in them. Okay. And it's like, I go to, you look at places like some of these islands, they're still walking around. They walk around without shoes on, man. Okay. I try to do that sometimes, man. And condition, you want to keep your body conditioned for all circumstances. So, sometimes I, would go to the beach. Where there's a lot of rocks, and I try to walk on the rocks without my shoes on, man. And shit, and that, man, my feet be in pain. All right. So, um, uh, I said I was gonna get a scripture, but you could go to Samuel. You can go to the book of Samuel, and I believe it was David. Okay, when David was about to, was being chosen to fight Goliath, the Lord said that He doesn't look on the outward appearance. Okay, because David wasn't, he wasn't a warrior. Okay, he wasn't a warrior. Okay, men look on the outward appearance. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture, uh, men look at you on the outwardly appearance and try to judge you. Okay, but that's not how the Most High operates. You see, and see that's what gets a lot of people. People look at you on the outside. All right, a lot of people are surface level. Okay, they're surface level, and they don't get beneath. That's why a lot of Jake becomes settlers in relationships. We get with a woman, or we pursue a woman, or only because it's surface level, and that's just something that's commonly came into play. With certain trends. All right, women push that and promote that. Like, I remember one time, man, I only dealt with a woman that had money. Okay. But now in this day and age, if you seek a woman that has money, or do they call you sassy? All right, they call you sassy, and you know, I didn't care what no woman looked like. Hey, if that woman had some money, and you know, she might take care of me. Okay, that was the woman I was pursuing. All right. But now, you got settlers. The Lord said He's calling fishermen and hunters. Okay, and you got a lot of men who pop out, and they're really settlers. They want to settle down, settle for anything. All right. And so, a lot of times, when I've done it, I've got mixed up, with women on the surface level. Okay. And I tell you, it's a very, hey, it's going to cost you. Okay. And be lucky if you get away with your life. All right. Be lucky if you come away with your life intact. All right. Because Esau has it so that these women, they're crying, they're crying that, that they have no liberty or no freedom. This place is designed for you damn women, man. Babylon is designed for you women. It's designed for you. That's why you can see a woman, they've made it more for you women, man. When I was growing up, hey, you didn't see no woman walking around with no pussy print showing, man. No, man, you wouldn't see that. You would never see that when I was growing up. Never. Never, make never. These women with these yoga pants on, you would not see that ever. And believe me, it was, that type of lewd behavior, what was in their mind, you wouldn't see that, because that woman would, man, somebody was gonna snatch that damn woman up. Okay, she was gonna get snatched up. These women that out wearing whatever they want to wear and looking, man, no, man, no. Um, Esau has, he set it up so that you, Jake, will be more distracted now that this truth is coming out. Now that this truth is coming out more, man, they're coming out with all kind of distractions. All right, all kind of distractions. All right. They want to keep you busy so that you do not get this truth. All right. And so they're using what? Uh, they have this, every time you turn on the internet, they got something for ED. The woman, she's upset because the man can't. And most of these women, man, come on, man, they can't last more than 2 minutes, really. They talking shit, but most of them can't last more than 2 minutes. Okay. Women talking about they can go an hour. You man, please, man. I haven't seen a woman get down for an hour unless she can do something for an hour if I'm moving like a turtle. Okay. But me going, it's 2 minutes, man. Shit, get 5 minutes. The motherfuckers, the neighbors know my name. All right. So no, man, no. So Esau, this damn devil, and that's why he's the devil, man. That's why he's the devil. It's the worship. The woman is God, man. That's why so many women are turning their back on this truth. But that's another topic for another time, man. Like I did the lesson on YOLO. That's their God. beneath it all, that's the God of these women. YOLO. You only live once. That's what they're saying. They're not trying to get with you, and you're taking your time and you're doing the law, statutes. Man, come on, man. Be for real. Not when she's in the mirror taking pictures and getting a 20,000 likes. She looks like a damn. She looks like a. Your woman looks like a goddamn. But guess what? She looked like a goddamn it. Right? But guess what? A settler is out there trying to wife your woman up, man. You like, god damn. Jay, hey, you're not. That's why. Listen, 2/3, man. 2/3. Your woman's all she all caught up in it. She don't care. A lot of these dudes, man, these dudes is momos. Momo the hell out. And a lot of these momos, man, they're giving that package away, man. All right? They're giving packages away that you can't recover from. And they get in your woman DM, man. They don't care about giving you nothing, man. They know she's a damn they know she's a damn dildo head, man. It's nothing to these women, man. Like the woman said, Sharonza Ali. Okay, most black women, okay, most black or nearly all black women, okay, have the mindset of a 14-year-old. They don't get no older than 14 mentally. That's a true saying, man. You know, I go, I go by universities, and the black women, even in these universities, prestigious universities here in Illinois and Chicago, you see the black women on campus, man. They're damn dildo heads, man. It's nothing deep to them. They're dressing like the Scoochie Rat. Okay, they, on the college campus. Now, they're Scoochie Rat on the college campus. Okay, all they're doing is going to get a piece of paper, okay, that diploma, so they can wave it in your damn face, Jake. Say, look, I'm more accomplished. It has nothing to do with them elevating themselves or their people or families or anything, man. Hey, man, the black woman is, hey, man. I had a loss of words, man. I was finna say something drastic. It was finna come. Okay, the black woman is terrible, man. When I look in the Bible, there's a lot of things that she's compared to. This compare her to an ostrich, compare her to it's like trying to live in a house with a bear or a lion. Okay, can you imagine you just snatching up a lion and just bringing it home like it's a pet? That's the damn nigger woman today, man. Oh man, she's terrible. Okay. These women go to these schools. They're not trying to. They have all these papers. Look at my diploma. Whatever. Okay, they have these diplomas. What have they done to improve the condition of their people? Nothing. Not a thing. They've done nothing to improve the condition of their people, like Esau. And these other heathens, man. These heathens have been coming and going for over 75 years. And what have they done to improve humanity? Nothing. They come, they go to these prestigious schools, and all of their creations and technology go into making weapons for war, into biological weapons that destroy people. All right, military weapons. It's nothing to help you get, to heal you, to improve humanity, because that's not what Esau is bringing them here for. All these foreign exchange students, they're not here to improve humanity. They're here to seek out ways to destroy it even more. Okay? So Romans 3:28 says, therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. All right. Because some of these Israelites weren't keeping certain customs, but guess what? They weren't doing certain things, but by faith, okay, by what was on the inside, okay, and they were Israelites, okay, because guess what? Can't the Most High is not going to shortchange Jake of his promise to him. Okay, don't forget that Everybody has had their blessing except Jake. Okay, and Jake's blessing is you heathen. Okay, you heathen. All right, and Moses sealed the deal when he said, "Listen, this is only for the Israelites, right?" And the Most High said, "Yes." Okay, pretty much. Okay. So it says, therefore, we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Verse 29, is he the God of the Jews only? Okay. Is he not also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also. Okay. And again, the Gentiles are the Israelites who didn't know that they were Israelites. Now, there is only one Most High. Okay. There is only one Most High. But he was only dealing with Jake. Okay. He was only dealing with Jacob, with Israel. Okay. He wasn't dealing with nobody else. Okay. I mean, we go through those scriptures all the time. All the time. Esau got his blessing. Moab got their blessing. Ishmael got their blessing. Ham got their blessing. Okay. Romans 3:30. Seeing it is one power which shall justify the circumcision by faith and unsaved, it declares the fire again, and uncircumcision through faith. All right. The uncircumcision is not talking about no heathen. It's talking about an Israelite. Okay. It's talking about an Israelite. It says, do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. All right. We establish the law. So, I mean, that's as simple as it can get, I would say. From another angle, um, you know, yeah. So you'll see these Jake and these Israelites. They would be, you could say that they would be of the circumcision. Then you would see a Spike Lee roll up looking like Mars, right? Got his Jordans on, okay, with the glasses, and and then they would be looking at him crazy, like, what type of, what type of shit is this? Okay. But guess what? If Spike Lee wasn't, eating pork, and if he was praying, okay, calling on the name Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right, pretty much keeping the law, and had all his faith in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But guess what? Okay. But if Edomite came up in there, a real Edomite, now, talking about, yeah, I believe, okay, I believe, and and in his heart, he like, I can't wait to get rid of these motherfucking Jakes, I can't wait for them to let me in so I can, that's how Esau thinks. I get a bunch of more Edomites in here, we'll take this shit over. Steal all this shit. Kill their ass. That's how Esau thinks, man. All right? His words were smoother than butter. And that's what gets you Jakes all the time. That's when you got this guy crying about Nolan Wells. Okay? Damn, Edomite flipped his ass. Hey, man, we told you niggas, man, stop hanging around these damn Edomites, man. And if you're living out there, around and you're surrounded by Esau, man, you better pack your shit up, man. Because it's going to come down, man. When it come down to it, Esau going to eat your ass. Mark my words. You may have a nice little artillery of weapons, but hey, I just watched this video with in the Ukraine where the Russian had the damn drone. Okay, took that damn Ukrainian devil up out of there, man. Blew him to shit. So Lord willing, you were edified. And until next time, shalom.